Mamas, if you are ready for a Q1 check-in to reflect on your goals, realign your goals, and restore before we enter into Q2, then this live is for you. Hello. Hello. Hope you all are doing well. We are back with another live with Shalina B. If you don't know who I am again Shalina B. I am the go-to mom for family meals and routines, and I help my mamas prioritize their self-care and ambitions. It's important for me. It's close to my heart that as we have many roles and responsibilities, we're doing all the things for everyone. We are showing up in all of the capacities, including our business and our passions and the things that we have. We also have to make sure that we restore, refuel, have our self-care, have our community, all of those things. So I am your mom friend to do those things. So today we are talking about Q1 reflection and reset. If you've been joining my lives this year so far, we've talked about planning tools, setting your goals, being efficient with your time, and forming good habits to ensure that you can achieve those goals, make them sustainable, make your habits and routines sustainable so we don't fall off, so we can achieve those things. Because I'm someone that has fallen off in the past because I did not strategize and I was not smart about my time and about setting those goals that I had. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about that today. It is the end of February at the time that obviously that I'm recording or on live. It's almost March, which is the end of Q1, and Q2 is right around the corner. So these months go really fast. They go really fast. So we want to make sure that we are staying on top of our goals, but we're also taking care of ourselves because I don't believe in running ourselves into the ground. There are times of the month where we have to do more. We have to, our output is more and our capacity is limited. But the thing is, we have to get it done. And sometimes we have to stretch ourselves. That's the beauty of, having faith in God. And I'm always going to highlight that is God stretches us sometimes and he expands our territory. And if we don't take those moments to be stretched, God may not give us more. So when we talk about stewarding things, I talk about stewardship in the home as a wife and a mom, being steward over your finances, over your business, over whatever you are assigned to, whatever that God has given you. You have to be good with what you have before God can bless you with more, and expand that territory. So as we do that, we want to do that mindfully. We want to do that with care. We don't want to burn ourselves out because that's the quickest way to be disconnected from God and to not to hear his direction, his path for our life so we can continue to reach those goals. Because we cannot achieve our goals without the good Lord, okay? Because everything is in his will and blessed by him. So we want to do that. So that's the long drawn out way to say, like, let's talk about our goals and get realigned and everything today. So if you are joining me live, put in the chat what is one of your 2025 goals so far for the year. I would love to know. I would love to hold you accountable and just give you some support around making sure that you are on track, making sure that you are still achieving those goals, because community and support is everything. And that is one reason why I want to check in. I wanted to do this check-in again, because we are approaching Q2, the end of Q1, and we're approaching Q2. But also sometimes when we are achieving our goals, sometimes when we are going after the things that we desire, it can feel lonely sometimes. It can feel isolating sometimes because maybe people around us might not be in that same boat. Maybe they're not working toward their goals, or maybe they're aligned in a different way. But having that support, having that accountability can really be helpful. Even if it's internet accountability, it still is helpful because we are like-minded. We are in similar spaces, and it can just help to know, okay, we're trying to achieve similar things, or just achieve goals in general. As moms, as wives, we want things for ourselves. So because of that, it's good to be in community. It's good to have that support, because it doesn't feel good to be alone or feel like you're alone while you're doing it. Also, it's good to check in because you want to keep track of of your progress. What progress have you made so far? How far have you come? What do you need to circle back on? So it's just good to know, because otherwise, I've said it in my past lives, if we go off of vibes, if we're winging it, sometimes we don't always... we can't track it that way. There's no way to track it. I have a little bit of an evaluation background, so I know the importance of benchmarking and tracking the deadlines of projects and things of that nature. And what I took from when I worked in corporate, I was a project manager. So I took those lessons at home and became a project manager over my home. So when you're thinking about your own goals, your own projects, you want to make sure that you track your progress, that you know how far you've come, where you have to go, have your deadlines, all of those things, so you can stay on track and you can reach your goals. And then the other purpose of a check-in is that alignment. So are you still on the right track to the goals that you want to achieve? Have you gotten off track? Are you distracted? Do you have to pivot? Because all of those things happen sometimes. Sometimes you think that this is what you want to do for this particular season, but maybe the season doesn't align. Maybe God is telling you to pivot in a different way. And I feel like sometimes that is the hardest thing, when you are on the go, you are doing what you think you're supposed to do, and then God is telling you, like, that ain't it, dog. That's not what I want you to do. And I've heard lately from different people online and in my life saying, like, God's told me to let go of this. God told me to move on from this. And sometimes you feel like it's the right decision, but when God tells you to move, you need to move. So it's just always good to be in that alignment with God first, so you are in his will, but also you are on track with your goals, so we can make sure that you reach those. So again, I said that we're going to talk about reflecting on your Q1 progress and celebrate wins. So again, if you have a goal so far for 2025, drop it in the comments. Let me know what your goal is. If you have wins from Q1, drop it in the chat as well. I would love to celebrate you. We're also going to reset those goals and talk about why resetting is important, and setting those intentions so we can get back to on track for Q2. And then we're going to talk about restoration tips for self-care, how to recharge and stay focused. Because again, I don't want us to run ourselves in the ground. I don't want us to get to a state of burnout because we're trying to overachieve and overdo all these things. But we have to have a healthy, harmonic balance with our goals and also our care, our self-care for ourselves as well. So as we reflect on our Q1 progress, I like to ask myself some questions as I'm approaching this time. So I know the goals that I have in mind. So the goals that you have in mind, whatever they are, whether they're at home, their work, their personal goals, they're still a goal. There's something that you want to achieve. There's something that you set out to achieve for this particular year. You said maybe last year sometime that 2025 is going to be my year to do this. And if that is, I would love to hear that. Put it in the chat. 2025 is my year to do this. I would love to know what that is. But these are some questions that you can ask yourself, and I want to answer them as well. So one of the questions, what is your biggest win from Q1? And the wins could be determined based on what you feel your win is. It doesn't have to be a big win. It could be a small win. For me, finishing the Daniel fast was a huge win for January. We typically do it every year, but every time I do the fast, I feel more connected to God. I feel more connected to my purpose, more aligned to my purpose, and I know what direction God is having me in at that time. And one thing that I realized about my purpose and my direction, God doesn't give me this like, here's everything you're supposed to do with your entire life. It's literally, these are the next 2 steps that I want you to go into your life. These are the 2 things that I want you to do. After you do those, the way that I need you to do them, then I will reveal to you the next steps. And I think that's very important. When we are aligned with God, that we listen to him, that we open up our spiritual ears and our eyes so we can be able to hear that. And sometimes when we are distracted, when our home is decluttered, when we are overwhelmed, when we don't have those routines and systems set up, we are so overwhelmed that we can't hear from God. And if sometimes we feel like we don't have direction, we don't know where to go, things seem like they're falling apart, and it can be very overwhelming. But you want to make sure that I just lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. But yes, so you want to make sure that you are aligned with God, and make sure that you are clearing out the clutter. You are removing those distractions, so you can make sure that you are hearing from Him in those steps, in those next directions that He has for your path. I think that's where we were, y'all. We're going to stick through this. This is why this topic is important, because as much as I want to check in with y'all, I need to as well. And again, if we are in community, if we are like-minded, then y'all feel me that as we approach the end of February and March, that we need to check in. I need the community, and I'm here with y'all too, because life has been lifing. Okay. So another question could be, what challenges did you face? So there's always an opportunity to grow from your challenges, to learn from your challenges. So you want to think about it. What was challenging? Maybe it was something personal. Maybe it was something that affected you that was external, but it still played a role in you achieving your goals. So for me, in January, we had sicknesses and hospital stays. So the flu ran through my household, and then my eldest child ended up in the hospital he had a hospital stay overnight. So as you can tell, if you are on target with your routines, and you are in motion as normal, hospital stay and a sick home can really throw you off of those routines. And when you're trying to reach your goals, it can really set you back in a way. I stayed there with him overnight, so I didn't get any work done at the time. And then my husband was at home with our other 3 kids. So we were just managing the best way we could. And then once we got back home, the flu ran through our family, and then we were trying to pick back up. So I feel like over the last 2 weeks, we have been trying to push through, overcome, but also recover and heal our household. And thank God we're all feeling much better. But it was a challenge, and it was a setback, and that is something to keep in mind, because you're going to have those setbacks. You're going to have challenges. Maybe it's sicknesses, maybe it's something else. But that is one reason why at the beginning of the year, in the beginning of the year and in general, that planning is so important, because when you plan, I have my planner with the full month, and I plan 2 months at a time, so I can see what's going on, so I don't overwhelm my schedule and overload my schedule, because you have to make room for life. Life things are going to happen. So as you plan, as you have your routines, you don't have to think about what do I have to cook, who's going where, who's picking up who, what is this school schedule, what is the laundry schedule, what is the cleaning schedule, because if you got sicknesses, you have people in the hospital, maybe work is extremely busy right now, which I know a lot of different jobs, especially because of this new administration and everything's going on. It's been a lot of uptick in the load at different works, in different individuals' workplaces. So because of that, you want to allow a little space for life, as I call it, because it's going to happen, but you still want to achieve your goals. You don't want to make it knock you off of your entire square, but you want to be able to still make progress towards your goals, even in the midst of a setback. So I think I was still able to go live and show up, thankfully, because I made my schedule very realistic every week. I try not to overload it. I try to do a couple things here and there. And I'm a type of person, I used to be a space filler. If I got everything done, I'm like, oh, this is done, so let me do something else. But I realized I don't have to fill that space. Leave it open, because it might fill up with something unexpected, or you just need the rest. And I really strive for a life of peace, a life of ease. And that, I think that was, I don't know if that was my word last year or the year before last, but my life has really transformed into that. And setting that vision, praying over that vision of my life, and literally visualizing what peace looked like in my household, I feel has really helped achieve that vision. So when my peace and when ease is kind of knocked off, I know to revamp and go back to the drawing board to figure out, well, what do I have to do to make sure that I get my equilibrium back in the home? So another thing to ask yourself, what habits and routines worked well and which ones didn't? So the one thing that I realized in this season, being that I am working more, I think I work 1, 2, 3 to 4 days out of the week now on my business. So and then during the day, because I'm typically going live or working while the kids are taking their nap. So I used to cook every day, and me and my husband would cook every day. We would alternate who would cook what when, but we meal planned at the top of the week. We would grocery shop before the week, and we would cook every day. And it got to the point where I think after the Daniel fast, and when we kind of got back to normal cooking, we realized that, we were feeling a little burnt out after the sicknesses and everything. It was just getting harder to cook every day. So this week we actually implemented a new routine of, I call it a mini meal prep, because I think I'm a little bit against meal prepping for the entire week, just because I know myself and I know I get tired of eating the same things. I want something exciting. So I did a protein prep. So I just prep protein. My husband he makes a soup every week. So I appreciate that he makes a soup every week, because that gives us something to eat during the day. When maybe something is not cooked and we're hungry, because when I don't have anything to eat in the house, I'm going to unhealthy things. That is just what it is, because it's easy. It's an easy go-to. So I try to find my go-to meals and things that I can eat when, my go-to snacks. I try to get healthy things when there's nothing in the house, but, kind of a sidebar there. But yes, so our new routine is we did a mini meal prep, and I did a protein prep. So besides him cooking the soup, besides him, he made, I think on Monday he made a chicken pot pie, because he really wanted a chicken pot pie. I cooked shrimp and I cooked ground turkey. And I chose those two proteins. One, because I know my kids don't really eat shrimp like that, but I know they eat tacos. So with the ground turkey, so I made sure that they had that the kids had a meat that they could use, and then we could have a protein that we could eat as well. So far, yesterday my husband made shrimp fajitas. Today we're gonna do nachos. So we're gonna do nachos with the ground turkey, and then the kids will eat tacos with the ground turkey. So meat is already done. We're going to do that. And then with the shrimp, we're going to do, tomorrow, we're going to do, spaghetti, what is it called? Shrimp pasta. Yeah, shrimp pasta. My favorite recipe. It's on my meals highlight if you want to check it out. But it's a olive oil and pasta water based pasta dish. Because I don't always like to do pasta sauce, red pasta sauce, so it's a great alternative. But again, I have the shrimp. If we wanted, shrimp tacos was going to be the other recipe that we didn't do. But if we wanted to do shrimp tacos, we could do that. But the point is, we have these proteins that we can use for different things. I also thought about we could do taco bowls. I could do a shrimp taco bowl, or I can do a ground turkey taco bowl if I wanted to. So all I would have to do is cook the rice, and we have a rice cooker, and we have this Success brown rice that you can boil. It comes in a bag and we can boil it. I have canned beans if I want to do like beans and corn and lettuce and tomato and salsa to make a bowl. So I know that the protein takes a long time. So I think this is going to help our new routine to cook a couple things ahead. The things that we've done in the past, we've gotten a rotisserie chicken, and we've made like 3 things out of the 3 things that we will typically make out of a rotisserie chicken are chicken sliders, like chicken tortilla soup, chicken salad, which you can eat on crackers or a sandwich. So when we think about what happens in routines worked well, think about the thing and didn't work well. Think about the things that didn't work well and see how you can revamp them, and think about the things that worked well and how you can replicate that for the next month. So like I said, we're trying it out. So far so good this week, and we're just going to keep trying it out, building those good habits to see how they work for us. But I like the fact that I don't have to think about I don't have to take the food out. I mean, obviously we were doing that. I was taking out the meat every day. We were cooking it. It was working out really well, and I love cooking. But if I'm trying to prioritize my business and focus more on my business, but also being present with my family, keeping that together, then I had to change something up. And that's the beauty of routines and systems. They change with your seasons, with your phases. They adjust with you. So they don't stay the way they are. Sometimes the myth is that, oh, your house is clean one time, it's always going to be clean. Or say you work with an organizer and you think that's going to stay the same. It's not, because things change, your habits change, the seasons change, so your life changes. Just the different things in your life change. So your systems and your routines should change with you. So yeah, I'm excited about that one. I think that that's going to work out pretty well. But we'll see, because we're still in the process of doing that new routine. So if you have a habit or routine that worked well or that didn't work well, I would love to know in the chat. And then let's see, Liz said, I love protein prepping because sides are super quick to cook to pair with protein. Exactly. And that was my idea too. I didn't want to prep a whole bunch of vegetables because I really like fresh vegetables. Oh, you know what? I did prep a salad. I forgot about that. I did prep a salad. So I just took a whole bunch of greens. I cut up some tomatoes, onions, and I think some peppers and cucumbers. So we are eating off of that all week. So that's the only like veggie or side that I prepped. But as far as anything warm, like you said, it's really quickly. So that's something that I'll prep on spot. But the protein typically takes the longest. So yes, I'm right there with you. How do you come up with all these meals? I struggle with that. I probably need to just go on Pinterest or something. We are always eating the same meals over and over. So yeah, so that there's two things there. One, if you enjoy eating the same meals, go for it. I know sometimes when we think about our routines, it's just easy to eat the same things. But if you're tired of eating the same things, then yes, one thing that I recommend, I do go on Pinterest to come up with new meals and new ideas, but also I have a meal formula that I use, and that's something that I teach in my meal planning strategy sessions. My one-on-one meal planning strategy sessions is there's a meal formula that I come up with, and that is basically the same. So my meal, I'll just tell you what it is. My meal formula is a starch, a veggie, and a meat. So with every meal, you can typically come up with something like that, and you can change it based on whatever the protein is. And if you don't eat meat, it can be some type of other protein, but you can change it based on the protein. So if you have rice, potatoes, insert something else here, you have your veggie and you have your meat. Typically, that formula has worked for me in all of my meals. So it's been really helpful coming up with things, and it makes it really easy to come up with things because of that. But I know it can be hard to come up with new meals because we've gotten bored too with just some of the meals that we've made. But like I said, using that formula, I'll go on Pinterest and I'll look and see what's on there. Or if I have like one item, if I say I want chicken legs, I can type in like meals with chicken legs and I can find them. Or sometimes I just stare in my pantry and my fridge, as I've talked about in the past about I think of my kitchen as like a chopped show episode where you have certain ingredients in your basket and you have to create something. So sometimes I'll just be like, well, I got this meat. Do I want pasta? Do I want rice? Do I want a meatless meal? Do I want a carbless, starchless type of meal? And then go from there. So those are just some of the tips there. So again, we talked about the habits and asking yourself about the habits and routines, what worked well. If it's not working well, revamp those systems and routines so to make sure that they show up for you in that season, because they will change for you. If again, share one of your wins or your goals from 2025 and what lesson you've learned so far in Q1 about yourself. I think I am learning about myself is really the push through. I'm really understanding what pushing through looks like in this season, because in the past I wouldn't push through, and it has been challenging for me to push through in this particular season, because this is a grief season for me. My father died March 9th of 2022. So this is his third death year. So for me, there's a book called The Body Keeps Score. So your body notices when changes happen. Maybe you had a traumatic thing. Maybe you have a memory that happened in your life and it provokes or evokes these emotions. This is the time for me. He died of lung cancer. So, going through, you can understand when somebody goes through cancer, all of those things that go with it. So my body is really keeping score in this particular season. And in the past, I have shut down because I really wasn't sure how to cope. So I was coping with the best way I can, but I knew I had goals that I wanted to achieve this year and that I can make room for both. And I've said grief and happiness and productivity, they can all work together. So I have my moments to cry, I have my moments to experience the grief, but I also have my moments to be productive and to make sure that I'm still achieving my goals and within my capacity. So I'm not overwhelming and overloading myself, but I'm making sure I'm getting my goals done. So that is what I'm learning about myself. And then I'll answer this last question, then I'll go on to the next section. We're on Daniel fast this month. I am not okay. Why are you not okay? Let me know why you're not okay. Is this your first time doing the Daniel fast? Is it hard? Are the recipes, coming up with the recipes, hard? Is it just different fasting, not eating the things that you're used to? The spiritual aspect, I would love to know what is hard about the Daniel fast. But kudos to you for doing the Daniel fast, because fasting is not easy, but it is so beneficial. And I feel like the spiritual aspect, the health aspect of doing it is amazing. Those 21 days. So keep going. You got it. But yeah, let me know. Give me some feedback. Let me know what's been challenging for you with the fast so far. I want a bacon and cheeseburger. Oh, I know. And you start thinking about all the things that you want during the fast. Everything that you want to eat, everything that you can't eat. It sounds good. The commercials, the marketing, they're all there. But find some replacements. If you want a bacon cheeseburger, I recommend doing a black bean burger with lettuce. So that is one of our favorite recipes. We do, you can Google it or look on Pinterest, but it's like black bean, rice, maybe a little corn, some peppers, some nutritional yeast, and I think my husband like pads it into like a patty. You can air fry, you can put it in the oven, you can saute it on the stove, and then we use avocado, tomato, and red onion, or shallot, and a little bit of hummus as the bind, and then it's a burger. So that's the one thing that I did. I took the things that I really enjoyed on a regular basis, and I made them Daniel Fast approved. So if you need more Daniel Fast resources though, I do have, do I have it in I might have it on my page, but I can write your name down and then I can send you the link, because on my newsletter I have a Daniel Fast resource that has meals and everything, and I have on my meals highlight, I have a whole bunch of Daniel Fast meals if you look through them. But I'm gonna write your name down and I can send you that link after the live if you need some more tips and some spiritual stuff too. So I think is it Laro, Laro? From accounting. Okay. Daniel Fast. Okay. But yeah, look at my meals highlight too if you just want some quick meal inspo. And I think the burgers are in there too. So if you want to see what they look like, I do have the burgers in that particular highlight. Okay, so we're going to jump to the second part, which is to reset and realign for Q2. So we reflected, we've asked ourselves, you are so welcome. We've reflected, we've asked ourselves all of our questions about Q1, what's going well, what has gone well, what's our wins, what's our challenges. So now we're going to reset and realign. And a reset is so important. I know you've seen countless videos on weekly resets, and resets are so important because you're preparing for a new week. You're setting the tone for a week. It provides that awareness of your goals or just your purpose, and to make sure that you're aligned with the things you want to do. So just like you're preparing for a new week and you're resetting for the week, you want to reset your goals as well. So looking at your goals, looking at your progress, looking at how far you've come, what you've been able to accomplish, what's coming next. Because if you watch my other lives, if you haven't, but we talked about SMART goals, obviously, and which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So all of those things are useful for your strategy to achieve your goals for the year, because you can't just say, I want to do this year and not put any work behind it. Faith without work is dead. So we want to make sure that we put some work behind the faith in the goals that we wish to achieve. So we have to have some strategy behind it. We have to map out our goals per quarter. I'll talk about that too in my planning tool. I think it's in my planning tools live, or in my be efficient and stay on track for 2025 live. But it's all there. It's all there if you need help strategizing your goals. But yeah, so you want to break them up in quarters and make sure, and monthly, to make sure that you are achieving those things and you're not overwhelming yourself with too many details each month. So again, yeah, doing those SMART goals are important. So you're just doing a step by step. every month and working toward that larger goal. And then something that I find important too for resetting and realigning is to remember your why. Sometimes we forget our why. Sometimes when we don't, so sometimes we don't always have the motivation to get things done. But if you really want to achieve some things, you can't always rely on motivation. Sometimes you have to rely on your discipline, on what you set out to achieve, and on your why, right? So what is the reason why you are doing the thing you want to do? Why do you want to achieve the goals you want to achieve? Is it a part of your purpose? Is it aligned with your purpose? Is it aligned with who you are serving? What and who is it benefiting? Think about those things. And then if God has called you to this, are you being obedient? Are you being obedient to your why? So sometimes you got to revisit your why often, especially when you are like in this time, I'm feeling a little down just because of, like I said, the grief space and, parenting, trying to be a good wife, being a good mom, doing all those things in our household. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Some days are harder than others. I'm getting less rest in some days. So sometimes it makes you question your why. Why am I showing up? Why am I doing this? But for me, I want to make sure that I am helping at least one person a day. That is always my goal. And if I'm helping one person, then I know I've done my job. And I'm making sure that, God is He is in everything that I do. I believe in stewarding the home. I believe in helping mamas steward their home, and stewardship starts with ourselves, making sure that we are connected to God, that we are aligned with God, that our purposes are aligned with God, so we can serve, whether we are serving in our home, serving our communities, serving at our jobs, whatever the case may be. It starts with us connecting to God, and that that we are aligned in that. So remember your why. Remember your why during those times. That can always help bring you back to your center. And then prioritize your goals too. So as you talk about the goals that you want to focus on in 2025, and we've strategized them, we've used SMART goals, and we've strategized them per quarter, and then we're working on actionable steps per month, breaking it down per week. You also want to prioritize your goals, because sometimes it can get overwhelming. We have too many goals, and then we fall off, and we're not achieving and meeting those goals. And sometimes you don't know until you get started, and that's okay as well. But I like to tell myself to prioritize what matters. So I'm telling you, prioritize what matters in this season. Maybe this particular quarter, some things you're prioritizing, you may not prioritize in the quarters to come, and then vice versa. But you want to be aware of that and write down, what matters to me in this particular season. And then for me, health was my priority. Obviously getting close to God, making sure that my business is on track, that I'm strategizing, that my content strategy is on track, that I'm connecting and building my community. Those are what was important to me. But the other goal I had, because I'm like, I want to make sure that I stay on top of my intellect. It was reading a book a month, and this month, y'all, I have failed. I have not read my book. I have had 4 books. I had 2 audio books that I was waiting on that popped up at the same time, and then I had put 1 book on hold at the library, and the lady ended up giving me 2 in the series. So I was a little overwhelmed by all these books, and I ended up not reading any of them because I had an uptick in working on my business, and then home life was gotten a little more not overwhelming, but just the load got a little heavier. So I had to go back to the drawing board, which is what we're talking through now. I had to prioritize what matters. And I'm like, maybe this month, reading a book a month is not going to help. Because last month I read a book. I was like, I read a book in January. I know I can do it in February, March, and so on and so forth. But it didn't happen this month. So I'll try again next month. But again, I'm prioritizing what matters. And for me, my health matters. I've been able to do my Peloton challenge. It's a 100-day Peloton challenge. And I think we're in like day 60 something, 70 something, whatever. We started January 1st. So whatever that is, that's where we are. So that was my goal. My health has been my goal. I'm almost 2 years postpartum, and I had babies back to back. So this last pregnancy, I was at my highest weight, and I experienced a lot of like neck pain, back pain, pelvic pains, feet pain, leg pains, all of those things because of it. So I knew, one, I want to be here for my family. I want to be active, and I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy internally as well as externally. And I want to set a good example for my family so we can all be healthy as well. So that was definitely what I prioritized. So that's what I've been doing every day. I've been doing my Peloton every day. And then I provide myself with options as well. So the way that I've been able to keep track of or stay consistent with my Peloton, and the one thing I love about Peloton, obviously not sponsored or anything, but unless they want to, but Peloton has so many things that you can do. I have the bike, so I can bike some days, but say I'm tired. I don't want to show up for a workout. I can do a meditation. I can do a stretch. I can do something on the floor. You know, if you have a treadmill, you can do that. So I love that I give myself options, because you don't want to limit yourself too much, because if you limit yourself or put yourself in a box, you're less likely to reach your goals. You're less, you want to have options. So allowing myself options within my working out, within my health goal, has really helped me stay consistent. And, I want to get on my bike. I want to do it, but some days it just might not happen. So if I can do a floor workout, a stretch, a strengthening exercise for 10 minutes, I've still reached my goal. So that's something that I'm prioritizing. So yeah, prioritize what matters. Think about the things that are important to you. And I like to call it a ranking system. So write the things that maybe you want to achieve in this particular month, or in the month to come, or in the quarter, however you want to break it up, and then prioritize and rank those particular things. So maybe in Q1 you have January, February, and March. Maybe in Q1 you prioritize A, and then maybe in Q2 you're going to prioritize the B, and then in not Q2, January, February, and March, if you get what I'm saying. Maybe the different months you have different priorities, and that's okay. But you want to rank them. Do a 1 to 10 if you have that many. Maybe you have 1 to 5, 1 to 3, whatever you have, and then just rank them. Like this, my health is number 1. I want to make sure that my health is good. The book, we could put it number 5. If I get to it, great, but if I don't, it's not gonna hurt much. You know what I mean? My business, top 3. So my health, my family, my business, top 3 goals for me are what I'm prioritizing. The book, I can get to it. So yes, make sure that you prioritize what matters, because I think that'll help as well, because we all want to get everything done, but we're not going to be able to get everything done at one time. So prioritize the things, get the most important thing done, then go from there, and you'll be able to achieve your goals with a little less stress, a little less overwhelm, and a little less burnout, because we don't want to burn out trying to do all the things. And then I also like to focus on tasks over projects. I talked about this in my last live. Projects include many tasks or activities to achieve a goal. Task is one activity to achieve a goal. So maybe one task is cooking a meal tonight. You pretty much know what that task is. You know what it's involved, or hopefully you do. If not, let's get on that meal plan and strategy call so I can help you develop those meals a little easier, so you do have ease within planning meals. But say it's meals or laundry or whatever you want it to be, it typically requires maybe one task versus many tasks. A bigger project task for me was taking my tree down, which I had mentioned. And that required me getting bins down, knowing where to put it, putting all the bulbs up, putting it in the box, putting it back, reorganizing the space, cleaning the space. So there were a lot of little tasks and little projects within that one task. So it was overwhelming because I didn't know how long that project was going to take. It was a lot of little parts, and I had to have time for the project. I have 4 kids, so at any given time, the kids are going to be around, and it's kind of hard getting a tree down, all the flocking everywhere, and you're trying to keep kids away from that. So I had to find time, and I gave myself a deadline to do that project versus a task. Typically with tasks, and I think about them as routines as well, you typically know how long it takes to do a thing. So my one task typically at the end of the night, me or my husband, is to clean the kitchen. And I know for me, the kitchen takes me 20 to 30 minutes to clean it. Living room, kitchen, counters, dishes, floor, putting the food up. It takes me about 30 minutes. I also try to cook meals that are only 30 minutes because, again, we don't have a lot of time. So I love a good 30-minute meal, unless it's Sunday. So yeah, prioritize tasks over projects. Make time for projects when you have the time. Maybe you have days off. I did my tree for President's Day weekend because I knew we were off longer. And then you have spring break, you have summer. So sometimes you have to put those weekends, obviously. We can do weekends too. But put those projects, give them a deadline, give them a time where you have the time to do it. But your tasks, know how long they take you. So that way you can get them done, and you can, build them into your schedule as you are trying to achieve those goals. Yeah. So then, I already said that. Rank them in your life. See, what priorities are when, and then see what you can put down for now, put aside for now, and then pick up later. So like I said, maybe reading this month was not something I wanted to focus on, or I wasn't able to focus on because of my schedule, but maybe next month I can try reading again. So it doesn't mean that you can't get to the goal, but maybe that goal is just not top of priority for this particular time. And then ask yourself, what can you prioritize that helps you achieve your goals or get ahead? So, what routines, what systems, what things can you prioritize that are like, hey, these are going to help me achieve my goals? Me working out, for me, that helps me achieve my goals because those endorphins give my mind just like a boost. So even when I work out at night, I'm like, ooh, I'm up, I'm ready. My mind is creative. Like I'll be in the shower and I'll get all of these thoughts rushing through my mind, but I've allowed my mind to open up and provide that oxygen in my body and those endorphins. So now I'm ready to move on to the next thing. So prioritize the things that helps you achieve your goals in this time. So that was resetting and realigning for Q2. If you have any questions, drop them in. I'm pretty chatty today, as you see. Hopefully you don't mind. And I hope that this has been helpful so far. Let's see, Liz said, I have so many books on my nightstand that I haven't read. You are not alone, sis, but that was my goal too, reading one book a month. Yeah, and like I said, it's not that you can't achieve the goal. You just have to figure out where it is in your priority list. So maybe it's not top of priority, but maybe you can set a goal for that. So the way that I tried to strategize to read was to read a chapter a day. But I never set aside time to do so. So I didn't say I'm going to read a chapter a day at this time. I only said I want to read a chapter a day. So as I'm saying, we have goals and we don't strategize, we're not going to be able to achieve them. We're not going to build those sustainable habits to be able to get to the goal. So I said, I'm going to read a book a month and I'm going to read a chapter a day. But I didn't say, well, what time of day you're going to do it? Maybe at nighttime, but at nighttime I was ready to get into bed because after I worked out and I worked all day, I realized that nighttime wasn't realistic. So I'm going to revisit that goal. That'll be one that I'll reset or revisit to figure out if I want to do this goal, what should I do? The other alternative to that is audiobooks. So that's something that I used to do in the past was read audiobooks. I put my sister onto that as well because if you are somebody who is up, I'm with my kids all day. So I don't always have time to sit there and read a book. I would love to, but I don't. So sometimes listening in my ear is very helpful. I've gotten on this new fiction kick, but I realized I don't like to listen to the fiction, but I like listening to self-help type of books and like biography books. So I want to try again to like listen to an audio fiction book, but I don't know. Maybe y'all can drop me some recommendations for some fictional books. But I like the nonfiction. I like the biographies. I like the self-help books because I feel like I'm learning something as I'm, doing other things with my kids and things of that nature. All right, so we're gonna go to the last section, which is about restoration, self-care, all those things. And I'm just gonna look. I'm trying to do a better job of looking at comments in the moment versus at the end, so I don't forget. Liz said that you're almost two years postpartum as well. Shout out to you. Postpartum is not. They say, they have a deadline or like a time range of what postpartum is, but postpartum is continuous. I mean, after you have the baby, you are postpartum and it can last for a while. We can always be working on ourselves and going to therapy and aligning our bodies and our minds back. So shout out to you. 2 years postpartum. We in this thing. Any other mamas out there, shout out to you too. We are all in postpartum and we are all can just reconnect with ourselves, reinvent ourselves, do whatever we need to do to achieve our goals, our passions, our desires, whatever it is that you desire. So let's see. I've loved it. Thank you. I hope to catch you live again. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. For your questions, I'll make sure I'll send you that Daniel Fast information. Reset. I love audiobooks and I'm 9 years postpartum. See, yes, it's continuous because we still need the support. We still need that community of that postpartum community because every stage is hard, you know, from when you're pregnant to when you have the baby to when the baby start growing up. Each stage is different. So that mom support is never ending, and we need it at each stage, especially if we are ambitious women. We have our goals, we desire to achieve things because we love our kids, but we still have our goals and ambitions and desires outside of that. So community is the best. 8 weeks postpartum. You've helped me a lot. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yay. Shout out to you. 8 weeks. You're doing amazing. You are doing amazing. You are all doing amazing. You are all enough. Keep going. Keep doing it. Stay in community. I am here to support you. We're going to keep thugging this thing on out because they say motherhood is a tough hood, but we in this together. We're not alone. So yay to that. You are so amazing. You've truly helped me so much. I'm so happy. Y'all are making my heart sing. So I definitely appreciate it. So all right, let's get into the restoration point. So again, we have talked about reflecting on our goals. We've talked about resetting and making sure that our goals are realigned and are aligned. Now we're going to talk about the restoration. So as I said in the beginning, we don't want to run ourselves in the ground trying to achieve our goals. We want to allow space for life to happen, for unexpected things to happen. We want to let our habits and our routines support us and show up for us as we are achieving our goals and ambitions. But we also want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, that we are fueling ourselves through our self-care. Through, making sure that we are connecting with God, so we are stewarding properly. We are storing our energy and all of those things because they help us to stay productive. They help us to achieve our goals because we are connecting with God. We're connecting with other people. We are not isolating ourselves because I also said earlier, sometimes when we are so focused on achieving a goal, we do isolate ourselves. And some seasons sometimes call for that, but we also have to stay in community. We have to stay with other people who are supportive and are holding us accountable because it can feel very lonely. We can get in our feelings. We can start feeling like what we're doing doesn't matter or we're not doing good enough and all those things, especially in motherhood. We can feel like we're not being good moms. We have the mom guilt, all of those things. So being in community with other people that can relate, that are on the same journey or similar journeys, it don't have to be the same journey, but similar journeys, it helps to motivate us, get us the spark we need to go after our passions and achieve the goals that we have. So community, connection, making sure that we restore our energy, our care, and all those things so we can stay productive. And being around people to fuel you. People that have common interests can really fuel you to keep you going. So the first thing for a restorative check-in is our self-care, of course. What does that look like to you? Think about your self-care types and make it a routine. So the 4 types of self-care that I always talk about are emotional, physical, social, and spiritual. So with emotional self-care, those are activities that help you connect, reflect, and process your emotions. So that can be seeking a therapist, journaling, art, or music, something that help you connect with your emotions, whatever that is. For you, it could be meditation, breathing. I love a good breathing exercise, but you want to stay connected with yourself because when I find that I'm not connected to myself, I'm not connected to God. If I'm not connected with God, I'm not aligned in my purpose. And then I feel like I'm purposeless. And then that sends me down a whole rabbit hole. So that is my sure way. That is the way that I check in with myself. When I know that I'm entering burnout or I'm entering a phase or season that I don't want to be in, I'm like, I need to make sure that I'm connected to God. God, I don't know if I'm disconnected from you. Let me come back because I feel all these things. I feel like things aren't working out. I'm trying to control everything. So yeah, making sure that I'm connected emotionally and I'm doing the things that just keep me in that path of God. So emotional self-care, physical self-care, activities that improve the well-being of your physical health. So yoga, stretching, breathing, as I mentioned, healthy food choices, and rest. Now rest is productive. Rest is underrated, but sometimes we need the rest because sometimes when we feel out of sorts, sometimes it's just a matter of resting. Maybe it's a power 10, a power 20, but literally just laying down or just sitting for a minute and allowing your body not to do anything, but just to be sometime can give you that little recharge and reset that you need. Because sometimes we don't always have that large amount of time to rest, but just a little bit of rest, a little bit each day, or a little bit of moment, just to disconnect from all of your role and responsibilities so you can make that room for God. So you can pause, and that stillness, he can come in and drop whatever on you that he needs to drop on you is very important. And then breathing and yoga and stretching just helps to like open up your body and remove those toxins, because sometimes our bodies can get really stuck and we need those channels to move. We need our oxygen to flow. We need the oxygen to flow to our brains and our blood to just flow and be able to move all in our body. And it all just helps make our day better and helps our mind be sharper and to be able to maneuver and work towards your goals. Spiritual or social self-care, activities that nurture and deepen the relationship with the people in your life. So, connecting with friends, like I said, connecting with, people that have common interests, that are supportive, that helps you reach your goals. Those things can really just, ignite the fire in you and make you feel good. I had mentioned earlier on my, in my stories that I was feeling down and I was dealing with this grief, and, I was kind of pulling away and I was starting to isolate, and then I just started being poured into by my friends and, a lot of positive things that are reassuring me in the moment. And it made me remember the importance of community and the importance of having a circle and having that support system of people that can pour into you, even when they don't know that you're going through things. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we don't always share what we're going through. We pray for each other. We don't always share. So just a matter of God dropping on their heart. That's why it's important to also have, a faithful prayer circle too, because God will drop it on their heart to let them know, like, hey, you need to show up for this particular friend. You need to check on this particular person. And it's so powerful and it's so needed. So yeah, so social self-care, get you a good circle of people that, again, will pray over you, will cover you, even when you don't say it out loud. Obviously, we want to make sure that we communicate, but even on the days where you don't say it out loud, you have people that can cover you and support you, and then you can reciprocate that as well to them when they are in need. Spiritual self-care. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but the particular spiritual self-care activities that nurture your spirit and allow you to think bigger than yourself. So this could be meditation, reflection, connecting with your Bible, spending some time out in nature. So to just kind of expand on spiritual self-care, I always talk about having a spiritual self-care routine. What are you doing to connect with God every day? For me, I get up, I read my Bible plan. I need to go back to getting in my spiritual, my spiritual closet, my closet. I need my prayer closet. I need to do that. I realize that I don't want to get too routine in my Bible plans. I want to make sure that I reflect on them, that I'm taking time to pray over them and really understand what they mean in my life, and taking the time just to go in my prayer closet, just to sit there. Because sometimes when you are still, when you are quiet and you are in a place where you can give God your full attention, that's when he speaks to you. He doesn't speak to you when you are out and doing everything and you super busy. You know, he can't deposit in that particular moment. But like when we are still, when we are quiet, when we are in those restful moments in those places, God can really show up in some wonderful ways. So also when you are in this restorative place, as we are achieving our goals, you want to have your Bible verses. That's our armor, right? We have our armor with us because the enemy is real. And if we're trying to achieve our goals, we're trying to progress in life, sometimes the enemy is going to tell you that you are not worthy, that you cannot do the things that you say that you want to do. He'll find all the reasons to tell you how you're not this thing when God has purposed you and has created you for the things that you are doing. So a couple scriptures, I have 3 that that I've been really relying on. And I have more, but these are just the 3 that I want to choose today. So one of them is Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. That just kept coming to me. My yoke is easy, burden is light. You know, those, and I'm thankful that in those moments of like uncertainty, when I'm feeling a little fearful, these verses will come in, or songs will come in. I remember when just crazy stuff with administration first started happening. The song, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but the Lord has given us power. Like, God has just dropped these things on me to let me know, like, I am here. I am powerful. I am ruler over nations. You know, I take care of all of this. So trust in me, have faith in me. You know, the goals that you want to achieve, they are purposed by me. They're in my will. They will happen. So trust the process, trust my timing, you know, because his timing is perfect. Sometimes we want things to happen right away, but his timing is perfect. So sometimes you need those scriptures so you don't grow weary. That's another one. I don't have the verse, but don't grow weary in the fight or something like that. That's another one. But yeah, don't grow weary as you are doing the things you're doing, because you are called, you are purposed for things such as this. So don't give up. Definitely keep going. So another one is James 1, 2, and 4. And that's, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various tasks, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. And is that, did I read all of it? Yeah, lacking nothing. Yeah, I was going to keep on going. But yes, you lack nothing. I think that's an important one too, as well, to know that you are enough and that you lack nothing. You have everything, and God is placed in you everything that you need to show up, to be qualified to do the things that you are purposed to do. So in the goals that you want to reach, it may be hard along the way, but God has purposed you and you lack nothing. Then the other verse I'll share is John 33. These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but be good cheer. I have overcome the world. So those just let me know, like, continue going on. Don't worry about the things you can't control, because God got it. You know, cast your burdens on him because he cares for you. That's another one. So like, literally, these scriptures just help you in the moment, and as you continue to move forward and do the things that we set out to do. So self-care. Find your self-care. And I like to say your self-care survival kit. What things are you putting in your self-care survival kit? So I'm putting my Peloton workouts in there. I'm putting my time with God, my scriptures in there. What else? My healthy foods in there. Some good healthy snacks. I'm trying to think if I have, my ginger snaps. They're not super healthy, but they're not super bad. But I've been loving these ginger snaps. Oh my goodness, they're so good. So I'll put my ginger snaps in my self-care survival kit too. So what would you put in your self-care survival kit? And think about that. It is an act of survival. It is something that you should do every day. Self-care should be a everyday practice, not just when it's convenient, but it doesn't have to be elaborate and luxurious, but it's just something that restores you, that fuels you, that helps you connect with God and connect with yourself, and brings you joy every day. It could be a small thing, it could be a larger thing, but it's necessary every day to show up in some type of way, and in those types that I mentioned. So you can find your self-care through those. And then the last thing is to sync your productivity with your menstrual cycle. So this is something that I've been talking about lately. I learned about this concept maybe 2 years ago, and I had a cycle still because I was still having kids, but now after having a hysterectomy, I don't have a cycle anymore. So I don't always think about the time of the month. Like sometimes we'll be like, oh, I'm PMSing, or oh, I'm gonna get some chocolate because I'm this or that, or oh, I'm having some cravings or this and that. I don't think about it because I don't have cycles anymore. But cycle syncing is a way to understand what your body is doing in that particular month and how to sync it with your productivity so you can still show up. So they're out, and I'm just going to briefly go over this, but you can go online and type in cycle syncing to sync it with your own cycle, so you know how to plan for the year, how to strategize for the year, because I think that this is important for women to be able to use that cycle syncing to strategize, because sometimes you want to show up and you're so tired, you're fatigued, you're overwhelmed, maybe you're overthinking, and you don't know where it's coming from. But sometimes it could be where you are in your cycle period, and you should know what you need to do in those particular sections, when to show up, when to do what, when to plan, when to be present, when to be sociable, because those things will make a difference. So the follicular phase, so I think it's 4 phases. So the follicular phase is the first phase. So I think it's like days 1 through 10 or something, the early time. The follicular phase is like your planning and your brainstorming phases. So, you want to get all of the, the things that you want to do out. You want to plan ahead. So that's the beginning of the month, where you're typically on point. It's that surge of, it's the new month. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get my goals. Let's get it. The ovulatory phase is your high energy task and social activities. So again, that beginning mid-month, you planned, you're ready to go. You got your high energy. This is the time where you shine. You're feeling the most confident. And then the luteal phase, which is like not the end, but the second to the end, of the month, where you're preparing for your menstrual cycle. I think it's like the ovulation period. It's the focus, work, and completing tasks period. So you're more productive. You want to get stuff done. You're a little focused because you're preparing for kind of the down spiral, if you will, that moment for your menstrual. And then the menstrual phase is the rest, reflect, and evaluate progress, which makes sense, right? Because we're currently at the end of the month, and we're talking about reflecting. We're talking about the importance of evaluating your progress and resting. So it's not a coincidence that I'm doing this particular live at this particular time of the month. Are there any apps that we can use? I will check. I'll write that down. I'll check and see if there are any apps. I have a link that I've been using that talks about each phase, what food you can eat, what fitness you do in that phase, what kind of productivity you can do for the month. So for example, this particular month, which is called the late luteal phase, it says that you might be feeling more fatigued, less sociable. Your mind is prone to experiencing anxiety, overthinking due to increased progesterone and drop in estrogen. So this is a moment to plan, project preparation, self-analyzing, prioritize sleep. So for me, I'm experiencing all those things. On top of grief, the end of the month is just got me in shambles a little bit, but I'm planning. My creativity is booming. So I'm planning for the next 2 months. I'm planning, still my goals on track with that. Project preparations, preparing for the projects ahead of time, analyzing, reflecting, and trying to get some sleep, because I think that's important. And then they talk about what fitness you could do, what things you should eat. But yeah, I can send you this link, but I'll check online and see if there are any apps, because yeah, that could be helpful. I know I used to use like period apps and stuff, but as far as cycle syncing apps, I'm sure there might be some out there, but I'll check, because that'll be cool too for me to have an app that lets me know like, hey, you're in this particular phase. This is what you do. I'd imagine they are out there, but I will definitely check. So yeah, so that is it. That is our Q1 check-in, our reset, our restoration, our reflection. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any other questions, please put them in the chat now, or you can put them later. If you're watching the replay on Instagram or YouTube, feel free to put your questions in the chat, in the comment section, and I'd be happy to answer them. But yes, I hope that you all are on target with your goals. And if not, it's a great time to start. It's a great time to start thinking about your goals. Go watch my past lives where I help you prep for your goals and all of those things. For the month of March, we're going to be talking about if you don't have goals, or there may be some ambitions or hobbies that you want to do, or maybe you want to reignite some of those hobbies, we're going to talk about how to do that. So March is Women's History Month, so we're going to bet on ourselves, and we are going to continue to show up for ourselves. So there are going to be a lot of topics around identity, about finding your hobbies, finding your thing, all those type of things. So I'm looking forward to March. March should be a good month of topics as well. But yeah, if you ever have any questions, you can feel free to DM me. If you desire some more support for strategies for your goals, for your household, for your personal goals, then definitely reach out to me. I would love to get on a call so we can set up those strategies and help you reach your goal. I would love to work with you and help you out in those areas. But yeah, if anything else, y'all know y'all can DM me. Y'all can talk to me and we can talk in DMs and we can get whatever it is that you need. So that's all I got. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will be back next week. Tuesday is the goal, every Tuesday. So I'll be back next Tuesday with another live. So okay, that was my alarm, and I gotta go get my kids. So yeah, so share it, like it, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.